Hey guys, and welcome back to Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. As always, I'm DemonFire93, and last time we were convicted of murder and sentenced to death and dropped down into the garbage chute, but Alter Ego saved us. And so now we're down here. Kyoko dropped down after us to help us, and now we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right? I don't know.
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know? It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. Oh my god, we gotta keep talking. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own, so how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. Batman? My god, Kyoko's Batman, guys. The ultimate detective?
Correct.
And the reason I came to Host Peak Academy. I can't do that. I can't do the Batman voice forever. And the reason I came to Host Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. You had to find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. Oh. What?
In other words...
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad is Hope's Peak headmaster? Then that explains when Alter Ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
No matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on? My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what did you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the desk drawers jumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes. And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the stuff must have had to stay overnight from time to time. Staff must have had to stay. Okay, and I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that was true, that room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered what my purpose was, to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what was that like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is the moment I saw it, I realized whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we ever imagined. What do you mean?
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. It sounds like it must be important and really ominous. Oh my god, are we ever gonna get out of this goddamn room?
However...
Of course, once I got to the second floor dorms, there was no cameras and no monitors, which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. What was going on? It has to do with Bukuru Ikusawa, doesn't it?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi, then who did kill her?
Anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Iwasaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
indeed.
Then why was I the one who was sentenced to death? I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules. That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. Me? I could have been the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean during that night? I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death? Sure, why not? What? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms, and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell, and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I followed, I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room, and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead. I don't think so. And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So all this would mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad. If true, it means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right. That is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity, and then we can get the fuck out of this room, right? The identity of who the other ultimate despair. The other ultimate despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair, and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
If you think about it, it's the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking
That's
about
right.
what happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair. That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then they're, make no mistake, they're the root of all evil. All the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. And with that, we end chapter 5. Oh my god. There's still 6. Wait, whoa. Okay, no, the ones in black were the dead ones, right? You received the Dream Island rocket. That's the thing from the beginning. The rocket that killed that first person. Do you want to save the data? Yes. Oh god, the ultimate despair. A group of people who caused tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. Not really. But right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. I gotta talk to you again. Kyoko, do you still have that one thing? Monokuma's secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
That's right. Then we should be able to use it on that door, right? That door! Hey, Kyoko, we can use that key of yours to open this door, right?
It's true.
Let's find out. Kyoko took out the key with Monokuma design on it and slid it into the keyhole. And then the door opened.
Indeed.
And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Thank God. Finally. We were finally free. But there wasn't even time to take a breath of relief because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up, like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Whoa! Maybe talking will help keep my mind off it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. I came out of my mother's womb detecting that she had had an affair with a man who claimed to be my uncle. And he was my real father, not the father who I grew up with. Right. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. Now I'm pretty sure detectives are trying to get justice for those who are wronged in the crime. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society, which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. And so you're single and not gonna want to date me then, huh? A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely irrational, but it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride, there's that word again. So that explains... Before I came here, when was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But You're reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Wow, okay. Here you go, guys. Here's a girl with daddy issues. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young, so I don't remember myself. But apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, he had a promising future, but he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. So it sounds like he cut all ties with you, and so you're coming back into his life to say, I'm not cutting all ties with you! You didn't cut all ties with me! Good job, Kyoko. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for it. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that, compared to her usual self, she was more talkative. You got that right, a whole fucking episode of talkative. And more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true. But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing. But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. But seriously, he walked out on you. He told you when you were a kid, essentially, that you're no longer family. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. I mean, yeah, okay, closure, whatever. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul?
Hey.
No. Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that, I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, I know how long, 17 minutes. We've been fucking climbing this ladder. Well, that's how long the episode's been going for. Oh no, 19 minutes, sorry. We finally reached the top. Oh, thank God. No more conversation, just open the door. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm barely certain that's where we will come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. I reach my hand up and pushed against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks is necessary. I was just returning the favor. Yeah. So now what do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the Mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too, you helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then,
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
in other words,
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Well, wait, that's...
however,
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time until they find out. Or till we're found out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
so...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. God damn it all. Leave the area, yes. Is there a way for me to explore other things?
Just a second.
You do realize that's the girls' bathroom. What are you expecting from me?
Shall we go?
We need to go to the gym, to Monokuma. Okay, fine. I was just seeing if we could explore. To the gym. I mean, Monokuma could be anywhere. All you gotta do is say Monokuma into one of the cameras and he pops up. We've proven that time and time again, so why would it now be any different? Why do you have to go to the gym to find him there? Just call him to us. Honestly. Well, we're here.
Well now.
Hey. Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't believe it!
But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you out?
What?
So what if I did? What would you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again.
Angry!
And this time I won't be leaving anything to chance. Kyoko,
Right.
do whatever you have to. What?
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now...
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? I lose?
Hey!
You explain yourself! What do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up this latest class trial by yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right,
And in response to that unexpected development,
indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter Ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro, you did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto.
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you so love to inspire.
however,
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me? In the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey.
If you were to execute Makoto right now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely disappointed. Kyoko, how do you know about the broadcast? You weren't there for that. You weren't there. We didn't have time to explain the broadcast to you. So, I mean, I guess during the time that I was down in the garbage dump the day that you were not, I guess they could have said, hey, oh yeah, it's being televised all over the world. It's Despair TV. Huh?
Indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair.
Okay.
Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial, one last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. I accept. Interesting.
Barrett!
Very interesting indeed. Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. They're called puns. Now, what you're suggesting might be possible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown! He agreed? Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely fitting in.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right! Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
I can barely contain
then that'll be
myself!
enough to qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mystery of this school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. God damn it! Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held?
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
Hey,
I just wanted to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? You don't have to be suspicious. I said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations, and having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. Huh? Mukuro's trial is no exception? And then it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro was a student. It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay. Enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak Academy since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry!
I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say to you. So get lost, would ya? Why so mad?
Whew.
He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey!
Leave me alone! Get out of here! Okay, I'm going. You really gotta let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyways. I need to start getting ready. A super deluxe or super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey,
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Okay. And with that, Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. And with that, I'm gonna call it a day for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time.